Hello everyone, Merry Christmas. Welcome back to IMO Reviews. To help get you into the Christmas spirit, here's my review of Nativity. I'm also clearly just using this opportunity to show off my insanely cool new Christmas Yu-Gi-Oh jumper. But let's get into the review. Nativity tells the fictional story of Mr. Madden, who is played by Martin Freeman, a failed actor turned school teacher who is tasked with putting on this year's school nativity play with the aid of the endlessly irritable new assistant, Mr. Poppy, who is played by Mark Wootton. But an egotistical rivalry and old romance causes Mr. Madden to tell a proportionate lie, that his movie producer ex-girlfriend and her Hollywood execs are coming to see the show, which puts the school and local town in an excited frenzy. This was my first time watching this movie, and I gotta be honest, I was left absolutely staggered by it. Where do I begin? The beginning of the movie is fine enough in giving you the character's backstory and general setup for the film to come, moving at a nice pace and offering some feel-good festivities along the way, but in hindsight, this probably could have done with some further fleshing out and time spent with the characters and the development of their relationships. I can't help but feel like we as an audience would care so much more had we experienced the breakup and the emotions that came after, rather than simply be told it in a very vague throwaway sentence. But by the by, because we get to the school, and that's where the real problems begin. This film had a very small budget of roughly 1.4 million, which is nothing in movie money, and yet it still somehow feels poorly stretched. Why does this school only consist of one classroom, one teacher, a tiny playground, and a headmaster's office? Even Waterloo Road can do better than that. Surely you can afford some extras to play other teachers, or get some real teachers in there like you did with the school kids. I'm jumping ahead a bit here, but it seems relevant because towards the end of the film, the headmistress gives a speech about how the kids from her school are always expected to fail. It's no wonder, love. You've got the entire school in one classroom with one teacher. The system is flooded and overworked. And to complain about this now, after willingly letting every single one of your school children just abandon their learning to take on this school play? Pot kettle black. Get an Indeed advert up. What are you doing? Call yourself a headmistress? Anyway, where was I? Ah yes, Mr. Poppy, or as I came to call him, Captain Insufferable. Because Jesus Christ, he is painfully irritating in this film. It's not cute, it's not endearing, it's annoying and weird, and it makes him a hugely unlikable character. Had this film come out in 2024, people would be deeply questioning this man's behaviour. It has not aged well. And I think it says a lot about how poorly written and shallow the other characters are when the only damn thing that endears you to them is the misery that Mr. Poppy's annoyance causes them. Yeah, that's right, I didn't really care for Mr. Madden either. He's kind of a stress-head dick who just blames everybody else for all of his problems. Even at one point using his sadness to manipulate a child into doing a performance that they don't want to do. What was that about? The only time I felt any sense of endearment to Martin Freeman's typical down-on-his-luck performance was when he gave a very cathartic scolding to Mr. Poppy. And I'm not sure we're meant to feel cathartic in that moment, and yet it truly was. It's horribly executed, and frankly a complete and utter misfire because of the annoyance of the character built prior to this moment. You gave us nothing but hell. There's nothing real about this character. He might as well be Peter Pan with ADHD. If you wanted us to care about Mr. Poppy, why not explain and explore why he's such an irritable man-child? You could have, developed his character and given him an arc where he slowly comes to realise his problems and become a slightly better and less irritating person to be around. But no. But anyway, Captain Insufferable and the children later send a video to Mr. Madden's ex-girlfriend and basically beg her to come to the show, which isn't at all creepy. And when that doesn't work, they then fly out Mr. Madden and two of the kids to speak to his ex-girlfriend in person. Just double down on the whole stalker vibe. Great move. Only to then find out that Mr. Madden and his ex are absolutely perfect for each other because it turns out his ex-girlfriend's been lying as well. She isn't actually a movie producer at all. She went to Hollywood to be a receptionist? What? Who would do that? Why? You could be a receptionist in Basingstoke if you please. Like, why did you need to end your relationship and move entirely to a different country to pursue a career path in filing? And what's crazier about it is that I'm not even 100% sure if she was lying, to be honest with you, because the film is so vague and unclear about it. Mr. Madden just starts the film with the notion that she's a movie producer. He must have got it from somewhere. But no, she seems to be surprised that he didn't know that she was just a receptionist. Do you see what I mean now about wishing that opening was just a bit more fleshed out instead of this extremely vague throwaway sentence that's proving to be confusing? And again, I think I would have cared a hell of a lot more because I didn't give one single shit about their relationship. And I didn't buy them as a couple either. Because there's no depth to them. There's nothing of merit about them. It's just shitty, wasteful flashbacks of skipping through the snow. Wow, that really did give me an insight into these characters and the deep, profound love that they share for one another. Cherry Missmas, everyone! Which, of course, in turn leads us to our very typical eye-rolling rise and fall at the final hurdle. The lie is uncovered, Mr. Madden and Mr. Poppy are let go from the school, the nativity play is cancelled, and yet, at the very last minute, everyone comes to their senses and the show must go on, bringing us to the scene that I love, despise and will remember the most from Nativity. Mid-performance, the electrics fail and the show is submerged into complete darkness until Mr. Madden lights the world's greatest match that just seems to turn the auxiliary lights back on. Come on. You should have seen me, people. I was going through it. On one hand, sheer outrage that they had the damn gall to be that lazy. And on the other hand, endless fits of laughter that they had the damn gall to be that lazy. But the show goes on, and somehow the endless stalking and child manipulation finally pays off as Mr. Madden's ex-girlfriend arrives with her producer boss to watch the nativity. Mr. Madden and his ex get back together, everyone had a great time at the show, and it all went off without a hitch. The moral of the story being, use cute kids to manipulate people into doing what you want. Merry Christmas. But, as much as I've kicked the crap out of this movie, I will be fair. It wasn't all bad. Insane, yes. Preposterous, definitely, but nowhere near the worst thing I've ever seen. And it isn't entirely without merit. For one, I love the fact that they used real school kids and not actors. You can see that they really are enjoying themselves and giddy with excitement to be around actors and film crew for days on end. It allows the film to get away with some of its nonsense and it doesn't take itself too seriously. And I'll give the kids some genuine credit because I didn't notice any scene-breaking moments and I'm usually quite vigilant with those. Nobody stared directly at the camera or accidentally walked through a scene. They did brilliantly, and they offered a lot of cuteness and charm to the film. Good on them. And the actors themselves also do a decent enough job with the material at hand. Having the actress of Miss Trunchbull play a very kind head teacher was a nice touch. And despite finding him insufferable as a character, I do have to give a lot of credit to Mark Wootton, because he does a fantastic job in the role. He absolutely ticks all the boxes that are required of the performance. It's not his fault that the character's an irritable man-child, but he did fit those parameters perfectly. And there are some genuinely good laughs throughout the film too. One of my biggest positives for the film was the whole gag about Harrod the Stage musical. That was genuinely hilarious and got a proper belly laugh out of me. I'm going to give Nativity a full point for that gag alone. And so much love needs to be given to Alan Carr here. His comedic timing and overly dramatic sass was endlessly funny and enjoyable. He really lifted this material into something light and amusing. He knew what it was and he rolled with it. And it's these small, knowing acts that kept me from hating the film. It is sweet, it is heartfelt, and it is festive, with a lot of charm from the authenticity of the kids. And it must be said that the stage presentation itself continues those good trends. It's fun, imaginative, and different. I like the small payoffs, like having several Mary and Josephs because so many of the kids wanted the role. I thought the costumes were good, I enjoyed the stage design, and it's clearly where the vast majority of the budget went, and it is well spent here at least. Overall, Nativity did leave me feeling quite festive and jolly despite its many, many issues. Because Nativity knows what it is, and it doesn't try to get above its station. It does exactly what it says on the tin, and it doesn't take itself too seriously in the process. And truth be told, I can't stay mad at that. I'm going to give Nativity a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comments too. Have you seen Nativity? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you haven't had enough of this crazy ginger, well, you can always click on these suggested videos right here and get yourself lost in an IMO wormhole. But if not, take care and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.